Chapter 1: A Land Shaped by Fate. Imagine a stork gliding low over an endless patchwork of emerald fields and sleepy villages. It is drawn to the heart of Europe, a land that geography placed at the crossroads of empires, yet where the flame of identity has never been extinguished. This is Poland, a nation that has vanished from maps, been carved up by neighbors, and risen again with unparalleled tenacity. From the baptism of a Slavic duke in 966 that tied its destiny to the west, to the legendary winged hussars who broke the Ottoman siege of Vienna, the Polish story is one of glory, catastrophe, and rebirth. Its cities were flattened into moonscapes during the Second World War, only to be painstakingly rebuilt stone by stone. Its shipyards gave birth to the Solidarity movement, a peaceful tidal wave that helped bring down the Iron Curtain. Today, modern glass towers rise beside Gothic cathedrals, and a bustling democracy hums with the creative energy that powers a country finally confident in its place under the sun. This is Poland Explained, a 12-minute journey into the soul of a nation that history knocked down but could never knock out. Chapter 2: Plains, Lakes, and Peaks. Poland's geography is a masterpiece of gentle contrasts. Most of the country sprawls across the vast North European plain, a fertile, pancake-flat expanse that has been both a blessing for agriculture and a curse in wartime, offering few natural barriers against invading armies. To the north, the Baltic Sea sculpts a coastline of sugar sand beaches, towering dunes that mysteriously migrate at Słowinski National Park, and the bustling port cities of Gdansk and Gdynia. Inland, the Masurian Lake District glitters with over 2,000 interconnected lakes, a paddler's paradise carved by ancient glaciers. Venture south and the land begins to buckle, rising into the dramatic Tatra Mountains, part of the Carpathian Range, where jagged granite peaks like Rizy pierce the sky and rare chamois leap among alpine meadows. Poland's lifeblood flows through the Vistula River, a silver ribbon coursing from the mountains to the Baltic, passing through Krakow and Warsaw. Along the eastern border, the primeval Białowieża forest shelters Europe's last wild European bison, a living relic of the woodland that once covered the continent. This is a land of 4 distinct seasons, where winter cloaks the fields in deep snow and summer unleashes a blaze of poppies and cornflowers, a canvas painted by nature's steady hand. Chapter 3: A Turbulent Past. The story of Poland begins in 966, when Duke Mieszko I accepted Latin Christianity, anchoring the young PS state to the west. The kingdom grew into the mighty Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, a sprawling, multi-ethnic federation that in its 16th-century golden age stretched from the Baltic to the Black Sea and pioneered a noble democracy. But by the late 1700s, Russia, Prussia and Austria carved the land between them, erasing Poland from maps for 123 years. The nation survived only through language, faith, and a series of blood-soaked uprisings. Reborn in 1918, Poland faced just 20 years of independence before Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union invaded in 1939, unleashing horrors that included the near-total destruction of Warsaw and the death camps. After the war, a communist regime imposed from Moscow stifled but could not extinguish the spirit of resistance. In 1980, the Solidarity movement, born in the Gdansk shipyards and led by electrician Lech Walesa, mobilized 10 million Poles. A decade of struggle later, Poland negotiated a peaceful transition to democracy. The semi-free elections of 1989 shattered the Iron Curtain, triggering a wave of freedom that swept through Central Europe, and Poland, a nation once erased, stood firmly back on the map. Chapter 4: Slavic Soul, Modern Heart. Poles share a deep, almost familial bond with their heritage, yet they are not trapped in the past. Walk through any Polish city and you'll feel the pulse of a society that honors its Slavic roots while embracing a dynamic, cosmopolitan present. Family remains the gravitational center. Sunday dinners, often featuring a steaming tureen of Rosal, are sacred. Poland is also one of Europe's most devoutly Catholic nations, a faith that sustained identity during the partitions and communist rule, embodied by the towering figure of Pope John Paul II. But Polish culture stretches far beyond the church pew. It is the lyrical melancholy of Chopin's nocturnes, the epic sweep of Henryk Sienkiewicz's historical novels, and the Nobel-winning poetry of Wisława Szymborska. Folk traditions are alive in a riot of color, intricate paper cutouts from Lowics, Highlander music from the Tatras, and the joyful chaos of the drowning of Marzana, a winter effigy. Christmas Eve, or Wigilia, is a masterpiece of ritual, with 12 dishes, an empty chair for the unexpected guest, and the breaking of the Opletek wafer. Today, a youthful energy fuels world-class contemporary art, alternative music festivals, and a booming gaming scene, proving that Polish culture is a conversation between the ancestral and the utterly new. Chapter 5: The Tiger of Europe. Since shedding communism, Poland has engineered one of the most astonishing economic transformations in modern history. Joining the European Union in 2004 acted like a booster rocket. Since then, the country's GDP has nearly doubled, and its cities bristle with glassy skyscrapers, logistics hubs, and gleaming research centers. Poland is now the sixth largest economy in the EU and a manufacturing giant, churning out everything from automotive parts for brands like Fiat and Volkswagen to household appliances and electronics. The IT sector has become a national pride, with Warsaw and Wrocław emerging as startup magnets. Globally, Poland is celebrated as the birthplace of CD Projekt Red, the studio behind the legendary Witcher video game series. Agriculture remains surprisingly robust. Poland is the EU's top producer of apples, mushrooms, and poultry, its fertile black soil still a quiet workhorse. Strategic infrastructure projects like the Baltic Pipe and a rapidly expanding highway network are stitching the country deeper into the continental fabric. Unemployment has plummeted to among the lowest in Europe, and a well-educated, English-fluent young workforce is luring foreign investment. Challenges endure, notably a heavy reliance on coal for electricity, but the government is accelerating investments in offshore wind and nuclear power, laying the groundwork for a green, resilient future. Chapter 6: Pierogi and Beyond. Polish cuisine is a delicious manifesto of comfort, born from a landscape of harsh winters and abundant harvests. The undisputed star is the pierog, a half-moon dumpling boiled or fried, with fillings that range from savory potato and cottage cheese to sweet blueberry or strawberry, drizzled with sour cream. Then there is bigos, the legendary hunter's stew, simmered for days with sauerkraut, fresh cabbage, hunks of pork, and smoky kielbasa, deepening in flavor with every reheat. A signature sour rice soup, żurek, served in a hollowed bread bowl with a boiled egg and white sausage, is the taste of Polish Easter. Street food enthusiasts obsess over zapiekanka, an open-faced baguette loaded with mushrooms and melted cheese, born in the grey communist era and now a beloved late-night snack. Pork cutlet shabowy, often compared to a Viennese schnitzel, is a fixture of Sunday dinners, served with mashed potatoes and tangy cucumber salad. From the Tatra Highlands comes osypek, a spindle of smoked sheep cheese grilled until golden and served with a dollop of cranberry jam. For dessert, nothing beats a paczek on Fat Thursday, a rich donut filled with rosehip jam and glazed in sugar. And of course, Poland is vodka country, with pristine rye and potato spirit sipped ice-cold, often with a pickle or herring. Chapter 7: Cities of Stone and Spirit. Poland's cities are palimpsests of glory and pain, where every cobblestone whispers a story. Krakow, the old royal capital, escaped the war's bombs relatively unscathed and today enchants with the largest medieval market square in Europe, its center dominated by the Renaissance cloth hall and the trumpet call that still breaks off midnote from St. Mary's Tower. Overlooking the Vistula, Wawel Castle is a sacred reliquary of Polish kings and a dragon's den in one. Further north, Warsaw is a phoenix. Systematically dynamited during World War II, its old town was rebuilt with such painstaking fidelity, using old paintings and photographs, that UNESCO awarded it World Heritage status. The Royal Castle and Wilano Palace dazzle with Baroque splendor. On the Baltic coast, Gdansk is a gem of brick Gothic, where the medieval crane still towers over the waterfront, and the memory of solidarity echoes in the shipyards. Wrocław charms with a gnome-filled market square and 100 bridges threading its islands. Underground, the Wieliczka salt mine plunges 300 meters deep, revealing chapels and chandeliers carved from salt. Deep in nature, the Białowieża forest offers a cathedral of oaks. Chapter 8: Unexpected Poland. Beyond the pierogi and the postcards, Poland hides a trove of curiosities that even seasoned travelers rarely suspect. For starters, Poland was home to the world's second modern constitution, enacted on May 3, 1791, just 4 years after the United States, a document so progressive it terrified neighboring monarchies. While we associate Madame Curie with France, she was born Maria Sklodowska in Warsaw and never forgot her roots, even naming polonium after her homeland. The medieval astronomer Nicholas Copernicus, who stopped the sun and moved the earth, was also Polish, a son of Torunia. During World War II, a team of brilliant Polish mathematicians Rejewski, Rzycki and Zygalski were the first to crack the German Enigma code, laying the groundwork for Allied intelligence. The winged hussars, Poland's heavy cavalry with feathers arching from their backs, were the elite shock troops of the 17th century, routing armies many times their size. In a quirky vein, Poland hosts the Crooked Forest near Grafino, a grove of 400 pine trees bent sharply northward, their cause still a mystery. The country even has its own shifting desert, the Bledo Sands, a leftover of a melting glacier. Poland's national anthem, Mazurek Dabroskiego, is one of the oldest unchanged anthems, a melody of resilience. Chapter 9: The Future Unfolds. Poland today stands at a fascinating crossroads. It is a nation that has bolted itself firmly to the West as a loyal member of NATO and the European Union, yet it fiercely guards its sovereignty and traditional values, sometimes sparking friction with Brussels over rule of law and judicial reforms. Its democracy is loud, messy and passionately debated, a sign, perhaps, that it is alive and kicking. In recent years, Poland's frontline response to the war in Ukraine, opening its borders to millions of refugees and becoming a vital logistics hub for military aid, has reshaped its geopolitical stature and earned it a new level of respect in global capitals. Domestic challenges remain real. The green energy transition away from coal is urgent, demographic trends point to an aging population, and political polarization can feel exhausting. But the driving force of modern Poland is an educated, entrepreneurial generation that has never known communist-era shortages. They are building global tech brands, revitalizing post-industrial cities like Lodz, and redefining Polish identity for the 21st century. As the White Eagle surveys this land of plains and peaks, the future looks neither easy nor predetermined. It will be, as ever, fiercely Polish, resilient, inventive, and never willing to be counted out.